These are the years when a man becomes the man he's going to be for the rest of his life. Just be careful who you change into. You're feeling this power of becoming a man, and with this great power comes great responsibility.
Uncle Ben. Nothing could ever fill the hole left when he died. Those wounds never really heal. The beautiful redhead is Mary Jane Watson. The guy is Harry Osborn, my best friend. They stuck with me after Uncle Ben died. Harry's dad, Norman, was great too. He even let Harry and me stay in one of the apartments he owned after we graduated and moved into the city. I got a job with the Daily Bugle, taking pictures of myself. Life sure is strange sometimes. No matter how much you want to hold on to a moment, you can't stop time from moving on.
General Slocum has given Oscorp a week to prove that we can develop a working serum. Or we are going to lose the contract to Quest Labs, given how much we have invested in this research. Losing the contract could bankrupt Oscorp. I can only assume that Spider-Man relates to our problem in some way.
Yes, Mr. Osborn, as that video showed, Spider-Man possesses all the attributes our project hopes to create. We hypothesize that he has augmented spider DNA in his system and feel certain that an analysis of his blood will enable us to complete our serum. We can modify the hunter-killers to track this DNA signature and capture Spider-Man.
Do it.
Well, if I want to get paid this week, I'd better come up with some photos for Jonah. The city's been quiet, so I guess I'm gonna have to settle for some aerial acrobatics. I can get in some practice while I'm at it. I should start with my web breaking. If I jump while I'm swinging, I can totally change direction and start swinging again. Couple of nice shots, but nothing JJ's gonna pay top dollar for. I need to get a little fancier. That target I set up should do the trick. I'll just... That was okay. But the shots need more action. Not bad. That should do it. Okay, I have those shots for JJ. Now to get back to the Bugle, collect my money, and get my rent paid. Uh-oh. I don't know what that thing is, but something tells me it isn't friendly.
Welcome to the world of aerial combat in Spider-Man the movie game. Whenever we're above our target, we can use our homing kick on it, which deals decent damage, but it can also fire upward at us, so we risk putting ourselves in danger.
Really persistent.
Most of the aerial combat in this game is done against a single enemy. But this is a decent introduction to aerial combat just for how difficult it is. These enemies come in waves, and there are more of them in each wave. And obviously the more that appear, the more bullets are going to be shot at you at one time, and the damage piles up very quickly. The way I'm taking them out right now is by shooting impact webbing at them after I jump off my webbing, which seems to deal a decent amount of damage. And it's a lot more consistent than trying to kick them while they're above my swinging arc, which can be rather difficult. Anyway, these are obviously the hunter-killers from the cutscene we saw, and from now on the game will refer to the people in the game will refer to these robots as HKs. On all of the buildings around us, there are a lot of pickups that will refill our webbing. I assume this is because Treyarch knew that webbing was the easiest way to take out the hunter-killers. Now, it is possible to just mash triangle and spam web shots at them instead of impact webbing, but firing more precise shots off one at a time with your impact webbing not only deals more damage, but conserves your webbing much better. I think the biggest risk with this strategy is when you go to refill your webbing by jumping onto the nearby rooftops, because the HKs seem to have a much easier time shooting you the further away you are. This probably doesn't have as much to do with the distance as it does the fact that we're not constantly jumping over their heads like we would be if we were closer. So I guess it does have something to do with distance, but distance is not the only variable here. We are getting shot quite a lot, which is probably what happened to most people that played this level. Luckily, there are 2 health pickups that I know of in the area around us, but we should only need 1 of them, since we're fairly near the end right now. I believe the nearest of the 2 health pickups is on the Treyarch building. So let's go and swing to that while we still can, instead of trying to kick them like an idiot. It's generally a good idea to get those health pickups before your life bar starts flashing. But we lived, and that's what matters, right? You might have noticed that we can lock onto individual enemies like we could the balloon at the beginning of the level. This makes it easier to shoot individual enemies, as you might have guessed. Even if we're not locked on to anything, Spidey will naturally target the nearest enemy. So the lock-on function is mostly to center the camera.
That's the last of them. But who sent them? What's going on over here?
Come on, move it! Please, don't hurt me!
Who the heck? He sure took off in a hurry. Boss, wait! Yikes! Not so fast.
Come on, move it! This wall is coming down.
Don't panic, boys. It was only a matter of time before we had to deal with Spider-Man.
Let's take care of security and get some hostages.
We've got a situation here. We need backup.
Backup is on the way.
Don't know who this creep is, but he's easy to follow.
We're going to be spending a lot of this level defending folks from the Shocker's goons. Fortunately, the Shocker's goons in this level seem content to use their fists instead of guns. I feel like Shocker's plan sounds smart, take care of security and grab some hostages, but that might be easier if they had guns. Because all they really do is break out in fist fights with everyone. Still, using Spidey's mobility to hop all around this guard and take care of the goons is really fun.
You have the right.
You aren't so tough.
I assumed that was supposed to be a very dramatic representation of Spider-Man's Spidey sense. We're gonna save the normal civilian before the guard, because the normal civilian's life bar seems to decrease a lot faster. Which makes sense, I guess. He's not trained to get in fistfights with goons. We're using our crowd control combo a whole lot in this level, and that's because the crowd control combo naturally snaps to as many enemies as possible.
You're under arrest.
We shouldn't be afraid to web swing indoors. The web swinging is not as rigid as it was in the PS1 games, but it's still very easy to control.
So you must be Quilt Man, Padded Pete, Mr. Triple Ply? Oh, I've got it. The cushion.
I'm the Shocker. I tell you not to forget it, but you won't be around long enough to worry about that. Now say goodbye to Mr. Innocent Bystander, sucker.
What's going on?
You really ought to pay more attention.
The civilian's safe, but Shocker escaped. That does mean we have a little bit of time to look around for collectibles, though. Like this Scissor Kick, which is our new combo of choice for taking out single enemies. And the High Web Hit, which we're never going to use ever. This is the only part of the level where no one is in danger, so it's the only part where it's really safe to go get those combos. We're gonna head straight toward the guards and ignore any enemies we see on the way until we get to the guards, because the enemies that we missed on the way will naturally gravitate toward us, so that way they're all in one big pile anyway. So we're gonna be using our new Scissor Kick combo, which you're just about to see right now. We're gonna use that against the enemies in this set of levels a lot, because one Scissor Kick combo equals one defeat for one normal enemy. And you don't need to be good at math to know that's a very good thing. I consider this a relatively easy level, but the beat-em-up gameplay is the stuff I'm the best at.
Shall we dance? That's the last of the goons. Uh-oh, someone's coming.
That freak's made a mess of things. I got a score to settle now. Come on, boys. Let's get out of here. All right, listen up. Spider-Man's gonna be right behind us. When he gets down here, ambush him. There's no way we're giving up a score this big to some clown in red tights.
Looks like the welcome wagon's already here.
In this opening room, there are these two really easy fellows, but right past them there's a guy with guns. And he's fairly durable, too. So we want to knock him over as quickly as possible and then hit him as soon as he tries to get back up. This way he can't get that many shots in, and his gun does hurt. But only if he can shoot at us for more than a microsecond. And that's not looking very likely.
Key to that door, I presume.
We're gonna climb on the ceiling because if we step in the sewage, we'll get washed away and it's very difficult to move. There's a single enemy over here on this side. If we were stuck in the sewage, he would have a lot of time to shoot at us, but since we dropped down, he didn't have as much time. The Scissor Kick in action again, quickly defeating single enemies. At this point, it's basically just a utility for exactly that. You see a single enemy rushing at you, you press those series of buttons, and your problem goes away. There are two switches we need to press down here, and two enemies with guns near the switches. But a single Scissor Kick will also defeat them in one hit. And since we got them both together like that, it wasn't so bad. The switches are on opposite sides of the room, but we can just swing or zip to the next one.
Switch I need to hit too. That opened the door. I'd better pick up the pace before I lose Shocker.
Down here's another armored goon that likes to block a lot. But other enemies will rush in while we're fighting him, or one other enemy rather. Very easy to ignore him though. He only uses his fists, and he doesn't deal that much damage. Probably should have brought some backup. And if we walk into this next room, we see his backup was here the whole time. Just kind of standing around.
It's time to stop that freak. Vic, make it happen!
I'm on it.
Well, we need to chase Vic down to grab that wheel, but first there's another combo in here that's going to replace our current crowd control combo. This guy has guns. Sure did him a lot of good, didn't they? The dive bomb is going to be our new crowd control combo for a while, but we'll also get something to replace it fairly quickly. Well, not fairly quickly, but soon enough. There are 4 normal enemies in this room that are going to try and protect Vic while we're searching for him. So we're just going to take out those 4 enemies first and then look for Vic.
Top of your class in cowardly running, I see.
Vic likes to hang out in this maze-like area in the center, but he's really easy to spot. We can use our dive bomb kick to knock him over when we see him, and then just keep pounding on him whenever he stands up again. He really never stood a chance. I imagine you're supposed to chase him down for a bit, but we're just way too fast for that.
This'll come in handy. Now to shut off that water and get Shocker. That'll do it.
Shortly after crawling through this pipe, we'll come to an open area with 3 enemies. The enemy to the left of us has grenades, so we're going to immediately snap to him. Like so. If we try and fight the other enemies first, then he will hurl grenades at us and make it very difficult to get our job done. That was our new crowd control combo. Does the same thing as the last one, but it makes us a lot less vulnerable than the previous one did. Right up here is a secret room, which gives us access to another secret room after we press this switch. We're going to go back through the pipe and fall down to where the water was previously all electrified and deadly. It's still electrified, but apparently less deadly.
Looks like I hit pay dirt.
These advanced web gloves are actually going to come in handy for an upcoming boss. Not the one against Shocker, but another one. We are going to get a power-up that's useful against Shocker in this level, though. But it will also be useful against nearly every other boss in the game, so... I don't know what this single guy thought he was gonna do. And he had guns, so maybe he could have stayed back a little bit and shot at us. That might have worked out better for him. In this room, I actively try to throw an object, which is not something I normally do, and it didn't work out so well. To be fair, that was my fault. But I usually think it's better just to knock enemies over with crowd control combos than throw stuff at them.
Dibs on the spider.
As soon as we enter this room, a bunch of guys will spawn on the lower level to punch us, but there are guys on the upper level that will take pot shots at us while we're down there fighting those guys. But we're wise to their tricks. So we're going to come up here first and knock them down. And if we didn't come up here first, then we would have grenades tossed at us while we were fighting everyone else. I mean, we're still getting a grenade tossed at us while we're taking care of this guy. But that's because I accidentally knocked this guy down a bit farther than I intended. Now we can go deal with a big group of enemies. With, mostly our web dome. But first I'm gonna find one of the health pickups that I know is sitting around up here. And it turns out to be on the opposite side of the room than I remembered. But, you know, that's close enough.
Look out! Let's get him! I'm taking you out.
Oh, advanced web dome, is there anything you can't do?
Heads up!
And you know, we have more than enough webbing to use our advanced web dome a second time. So let's go ahead and do that again. When you consider how easy it is to miss the advanced web dome that we got from the Birth of a Hero level,
I'm taking you out.
seems kind of funny how useful it is to us right now.
Dumb and ugly. I'm ready to get out of this sewer. I hope this key does the trick.
This key unlocks 2 doors down here at the lowest level, and in the left door is something we really want. Advanced impact webbing. This is going to be our best friend for a lot of the boss fights.
Shocker! He's heading into the subway tunnels. I have to stop him fast. I gotta give him credit. Shocker's a fast runner. Holy! Come on, Shock. You know I can't let you run around down here without a chaperone.
That's it, Web Slinger. You've been riding me long enough. I'm gonna finish you once and for all.
A lot of people get their ass handed to them in this section. What we're gonna do is use our web dome to block his blasts. That was my fault for not dropping down quickly enough. But using the web dome to block his blasts is a lot easier than zipping from safe place to safe place. Luckily, there is health force right here. That wouldn't do much if we got hit a couple more times with his blast because we'd be dead. But since we only got hit once, we're okay. We have to move this train to go forward, and there's a very easy to miss power-up in here. It gets quickly carried away by the stream, so we have to go diagonally to grab it. I don't know if we're ever going to use this one because I might forget it exists.
Come on, freak. You need to learn a lesson, and Shocker's School of Hard Knocks is now open.
Give me a break, Shock. I can't believe you have any class, let alone a whole school worth.
Shocker has a lot of moves at his disposal and a somewhat complicated AI pattern, which definitely means we're just going to break him using our impact webbing. Hey, we got that advanced impact webbing for a reason, and we're just going to keep spamming at him until he goes down, because it deals a lot of damage. When you're close to him, he'll either strike the ground directly with his blasts, or he'll turn into a tornado. I'm not sure how he does that second thing, but he does. Neither of those attacks hurt very much, but they do knock us away. And if we stay too far back, then he'll shoot concentrated blasts at us, so taking the closer range attacks is definitely better. We're out of webbing, but there are actually 2 webbing refills in this room, so running out is not an issue, assuming you know about those. They're both on the ceiling as far as I remember. Never mind, there appears to be 4 webbing refills, not 2. Either way, just spamming the impact webbing at him is the quickest way to defeat him because he has no defense against that.
In a second, you'll be nothing but a red smear and a memory.
Looks like your flying friend's getting your share of the loot, too. Where'd he get off to, anyway?
Oh, if I don't get mine, Vulture isn't getting his. He had some workshop set up in the old clock tower on the Lower East Side.
Vulture, huh? Thanks, Shocker. Give my regards to my fans in the Slammer.